Embrace the role of a guide, not a savior. Learn the importance of stepping back to let others navigate their own journey to success. If you're new to the channel, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. I have an 8-point framework. In these 8 points, I plan to unpack today's title, which is entitled The Guide, Not a Savior. You can't want it more for them than they do. Again, the guide, not a savior. You can't want it more for them than they do. Point number one, letting go. Sometimes, I struggle with this, family, as someone that, first of all, that makes content, that loves, that, in leading projects, like you really want to always be available. You want to give. And I'm learning that sometimes the best way to support someone is to let go. And what I mean by that is by offering support and letting them know, hey, I'm here for you when you need me. But let you go on and do your journey as what you're doing, especially in a project. I'll give you an example on a project. So when you are leading a project and all of a sudden someone, a stakeholder, goes rogue on you, that you can't find them, you're like, what is going on? And then you finally catch up with them, and then they say, oh, well, this was happening, that was happening. It was like, man, if you would have communicated that to me, it would have helped inform me better about the decision I had to make. Is where I'm escalating when I don't have to escalate. We could have just had a conversation, and if we would have had a conversation, then I would have been able to let go. But because we didn't, I'm concerned, I'm worried about the project. So a lot of that, again, as you know, comes from expectation. And when you're so buried in the expectation, especially if you're someone that cares, then what could tend to happen is you become extremely frustrated. And when you become frustrated, then you kind of close off of hearing what the person has to say. So I'll always recommend, and again, I'm learning in progress myself. Again, you know the motto here. We're always trying to get a percent better each and every day. So learning to let go. By the way, family, I do want to let something be known here. If you have your PMP, my mentor, you're going to get a chance to really learn from my mentor, Phil. He has a PM graduate boot camp going on. It's Saturday, the 24th, and the Sunday, the 25th, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. I'll make sure I put the link and I'll pin it to this particular video. But there's 7 modules. So first one is bridging the gap from theory to practice. Module 2 is core project management skills. Module 3, I think, is leadership and confidence building. Module 4 is agile project management. Module 5, which is probably going to be my favorite, is communication and stakeholder engagement. Module 6 is the real world application and basically the capstone project. And then module 7 will be career development and continuous learning. So again, that's just a synopsis. I'll put all of that in the and I'll pin it to this. But family, if you have your PMP, this is where you want to be. I'm going to be there. I have my PMP and I'm constantly learning. This is a great trainer, a great coach that you're going to want to learn from. And so I want to share, where I get a lot of my project management knowledge from. So I hope that you come and join us again, Saturday the 24th and Sunday the 25th, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on both days, and that's Eastern Standard Time. All right, let's get into the rest of the video. Point number 2, offer resources, not solution. Ooh, family, that's one of the things, again, today, I should have just called it Area of Opportunity Monday, because a lot of these points I'm pointing out, I am also working on myself. And, a lot of times what we want to do is we want to go into straight solving mode, that someone presents a problem and we want to offer a particular solution. We want to offer our thoughts on the item. And one of the things that I'm still, again, like I said, working on and in progress is being able to provide that resource, provide them resources for them to go and do their homework on, like sharing books, articles, workshops, basically any tools related to their interest or challenge. Now what this does is that gives them a chance, watch this, family, for them to have an aha moment. So And this way too, there's really the only obligation that you have is that you provided them the resource, you provided them the guidelines, but now they get the chance to draw out how they want their journey to go. Point number three, focus on their why. You know, a lot of people talk about this, you know, what's your why? What's your why? And people don't really know how important that is, that when you don't feel like getting up here and making a video, if you don't feel like getting up here and doing a podcast, or you don't feel like leading your team, or you don't feel like going into that job that day, whatever that thing is, and then you find out, oh, my why is the foundation, my why is the opportunity that I have for the thing that I said that I wanted. I like that. See, the reason why I like that is because of the fact of, we say that we want certain things, but one shows up of saying through action, and then the other one is just conversation. You know, conversation. I don't know how many people have told me, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that," and then when you say, "Okay, here's the resources, here's the tools, everything that you need to get started," and then you don't hear anything. It's crickets. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing that I always ask is, are you interested or are you committed? I'm always going to lean on those two. Which one are you? If you're committed, then great. Here, let's do some more. Let's do some more deep diving on this. But if you're interested, again, I mean, hey, I'm interested in a lot of things. I get that shiny object syndrome like most people. I am not exempt from that. However, I knew once I made a decision, not a choice, to be committed to project management, to committed to personal development, I knew what came with that was I needed to be committed. I couldn't just be interested in dibbling and dabbling. I had to learn my information, and that's why, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to my mentor and coaches boot camp, even though I have the skills, I have the years of experience. But it's not an excuse to continually to work on my craft, to hone my craft, to get better with the fundamentals. Because once you learn the fundamentals about project management and you keep growing on them, because the PMBOK is constantly changing. And as the PMBOK, because it changes based on what is going on. Like now we have Agile included in there. And Agile was never included in the PMBOK. So I'm saying all that to say this, family, is that when you understand what your why is, I know it sounds cliche and some people even say it's corny, but it works, man. If you work it though, you have to do the work on it. All right, point number 4, empowerment over enabling. You know, at the title, I was a little nervous about the title I put because I knew it was going to rub some people the wrong way, but it wasn't about rubbing people the wrong way. I want people as project leaders, as just leaders in general, not to get caught up in trying to be, and not trying to basically enable, but to empower. When you empower someone, you are allowing them to create the self-reliance. When you empower someone, you allow them to really grow as a person. And again, they have their own aha moment, but you were the person that was in the passenger seat while they were driving on their journey. Even though they haven't made it to their destination yet, they're still on that journey. So being able to empower individuals and giving them the tools, again, the tools and resources, and most of all, the confidence. A lot of times we forget about that. We have to empower people to give them the confidence to pursue their goals. And once you do that, you need to allow them to step back. You need to step back. And that was one of the very first points that I described. Because if you someone, then all of a sudden you become the bottleneck. That's why one of the things, and I got criticism about it, is like I never wanted to be a bottleneck on any project that I was leading. I always wanted to ensure that the stakeholders had the ability to go and get whatever, if there was a particular document that I kept, and I made sure it was updated and on a SharePoint site, so that way they were able to fish that. Now I am not enabling them to say, oh well, I didn't be able to get that done because Edward didn't give me the document, or because, so I'm eliminating all of these becauses, because now everything is actually there. Let's move on to point number 5. Inspire through actions. Listen, one of the things I always do when someone wants to get on the journey of going after their CAPM or their PMP, I like to, have a conversation with them, and I like to share my journey. Because the reason why I like to share my journey is because it allows me to gauge how if they're going to be committed to this process or interested in this process, because my journey was a very unique journey. Most of the people that take the PMP or CAPM, they pass it on the first time, but because I was a analytical, a logical thinker, that didn't happen for me. And who else knows the reasons why? But it just didn't happen. So it doesn't even matter what the reason why was. It was that I had to dig deeper. I had to figure this out of why I wasn't getting the results. I'm helping everybody else pass their CAPM or PMP. Why am I not doing it? So I realized that I needed to do a much deeper dive and sharing my journey and my challenge. Like, hey, I was studying, every weekend, after work, before work. And I'm like, especially for the PMP, like the CAPM is a little bit different where it's more, you have to memorize a lot of things. But with the PMP, it's one of those things you study for, but it's situational, which means that you have to really understand the context behind what the question is asking. And the majority of the question is what should the project manager do, and you have to choose the best answer. With the CAPM, it's not the best answer. This is more of to build up your knowledge base to understand key terminologies that are used in project management. So by, like I said, by sharing my story, it truly allows me to understand where this person is going to be at as far as their commitment levels, because there is a lot of studying that goes on. There are a lot of groups that, if you're not in a good solid group, then what do you do? What happens if you fail it? What happens if you get audited? All of these things happen to me, and so understanding how is that person going to deal with it if it happens actually with them. All right, let's move on to point number six. Point number six, ask open ended questions. What I mean by ask open ended question is the ability to really create don't have it where it's a yes or no. Is really being able to regularly engage in conversations that truly explore the thoughts and feelings of the goals. Like, here's an example of a open ended question. What do you think would happen if you fill in the rest of it? Now it gets the person to thinking. Now it puts the ownership back on them, and it's not on you, because your goal is whether you're a leader or you're leading a project, whatever that aspect is, even yourself, and you're helping out a friend or family member, the importance of asking open-ended questions, again, to get that aha moment for them to realize, yes, this is the thing I want to do. Let's move on to point number seven. Model resilience. That's key. I even shared that with you, and I said, family, one of the biggest things I had to do is become resilient when I was taking this test. When I didn't get the success that I thought I was going to get the first time, when I didn't get the success that I thought I was going to get the second time or the third time. And I realized, okay, I'm a PMI put me on timeout. I was like, thank you. Let me go and figure this out. And once I figured it out, boom, I came back and I did damage to that test. And I'm not saying that to impress you. To impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you, as Les Brown would say, is the fact that it's possible that you can make this happen. And so being able to, again, for you to go dig deep and find out where were you resilient at, and what made you resilient. How was you feeling? What made you push through when you didn't want to? What made you to keep going? So look at that piece. Point number 8, create a supportive environment. One of the things is when you're on a journey, you got to get around people that are like-minded. You got to get around people that want to be supportive, and a way of that is consistent, that a way of that offers encouragement. Because I tell you, this journey, if you're going after your CAPM, your PMP, or whatever the thing is, if you're not even in project management, if you're deciding to get into it, it is a journey. It's not a destination, because once you get the CAPM, once you get the PMP, once you get the ACP, now you're going to have to continue to keep that skill set very sharp. If you don't keep that skill set sharp, you may decide to go on an interview or a job opportunity. They may ask you, so tell me, give me 10 out of the 49 processes, and you be like, huh? Well, you say you have your PMP. You should know what the 49 processes are. Just give me 10 of them. All right. How about you give me 10 knowledge? Give me 5 out of the 10 knowledge areas. You see where I'm going with this, family. So it's important that you get around like-minded people that can support the environment you're trying to create for yourself and create the wins you're trying to capture. Here's my bonus. I have two for you today. Well, no, do I got two? Yeah, I got two. I'm gonna give you two of them. First bonus: encourage yourself, or basically self reflection. This is something I'm starting to do more of, as far as just more self reflection. Like, okay, how if I make a decision and it didn't go the way that I wanted, what could I have done better? How can I get better at that? So being able to introduce self-reflection practices such as whether journaling, meditation, anything that will give you an opportunity, or just sitting by yourself thinking like, man, how could I have done that better? Uh, because this will really help you long term, and of how you process of making your decisions. All right, the last and final bonus is celebrate the journey. A lot of people don't celebrate their journey. They're so used to celebrating the destination that they forget that within the journey there's certain milestone steps that need to be achieved. And when you don't do that, what you end up happening is you get to your destination and you're like, dang, this is it. Like, I got the PMP. That's it. Like nothing. Versus when you're going through the journey and like, man, you know what? Today I'm halfway through before I get ready to take the PMP. I'm killing it on these practice tests. I'm regurgitating the information really well. I can explain it to anybody on a level that gives me more confidence. So again, family, learn to create small wins for yourself. So when you get to the destination, as my mom or my dad would say, you don't even have to celebrate because you've already been there. So walk into it like you've already been there. I'm going to give you some closing remarks. I have 3 points that I want to close with. First point: empowerment over enablement, meaning true support really lies in equipping. That's the key word. I learned that from my mentor, Phil, which he learned through John Maxwell. But the ability to equip individuals with tools and confidence to navigate their own path, and fostering autonomy and growth. Point number two on these last closing remarks: modeling resilience. As I shared with you before, you're going to have to figure out your reasoning for keep going when you get knocked down. You're going to have to figure out, how do I get back up? And you got to get back up, family. You can't lay there, because the longer you lay there, the more frustrated you're going to get. So get back up and go at it again. And the last and final one, like I shared, is celebrate the journey. The destination, when you get there, is going to be much more sweeter if you celebrate small wins during the journey. Until next time, I've been your boy ED. I'm out.